Hey everybody, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker from the Netherlands, and I'm in the middle of a restoration of, I think, something special. And I would like to show you the Deepsea Heuer. Water resistant, it says on the dial, to 1,000 meters, over 3,000 foot. That is extreme. And I would like to show you how they solve each and every single problem in the construction of the case. So the movement is already done, so a bit less horology, but now a bit more about the water resistance and the construction of a watch case. Well, it is a super professional watch, and this is a mono case. So the case back cannot be removed from the watch, and as, as you've probably seen, a super waterproof watch. And there you can see rust on the inside. It was really rusty, and that is only because of the crown over here, and I'll show you in a minute what happened. An incredible design, because water resistance isn't about water. It is about resisting air pressure underwater. So if the watch case and construction can resist an air pressure, no water will come in. This is layer upon layer upon layer of seals, gaskets, rubber seals, in the hope that it will resist the water pressure, and it didn't. And in a moment I will show you the restoration of these hands. I think quite nifty. So it is a mono case, so the movement comes out from the front. How do they do that? Simple. Here is the build-up of each layer of water resistance. There is a screw ring in here. So you screw down the whole packet, all the seals are compressed, and that is the water resistance seal. But as a watchmaker, if you want to test water resistance, we first start with a vacuum test. So instead of compressing all the seals, and the harder you push, the more water resistant it will get with a proper seal, we always use a vacuum test, a 0.8 bar minus. So it is pulling the watch not together, but pulling them outwards. And that is a much better test for water resistance than compressing. So we first start with a 0.8 vacuum test, and then at least 5 bar we compress it, and both the tests combined will tell you an excellent result for the water resistance, or better, air tightness of the watch, because we use a dry test, and if it's airtight, it is water resistant, watertight. I want to talk to you about layer upon layer upon layer. This is the ring in which the movement is set, and underneath there you can see there the black ring. That is the first rubber seal from the bottom up. That goes in there. So underneath that ring there is a rubber seal. On top of that, around it, is another rubber seal, way bigger than that. So do it properly. And that's going outside that ring, another rubber seal. So that is the movement already in the case. And then I think this is quite a construction. This ring underneath, you can see the rust, really waterproof. That is where that outer ring is doing its job, and here you can see two rubber seals next to each other on top of that. We have to make sure that the piece I just showed you is completely flat from the bottom, but then you get a proper, well, watertight surface. Those two rubber seals, well, here is the crystal with an, you can see the rust there as well. Because it's crystal, it is perfectly flat. That lies on those two rings for waterproofing. And that has to be compressed, pushed together. But there's always a but. This is crystal, and here the rotating ring is steel. If you put a rubber seal in between the crystal and the steel, if it's moving like that, rotating, there's a good chance it will, how do you call it? Not go flat, but it will go, opstropen. Sorry, I missed the English word for now. But you can see it is not going flat, but ripple. I think that's it. So there is another seal, and I think this is interesting, on top of that. And that's got nothing to do, that white seal, with waterproofing, but it is simply a bit of silicone, bit thicker, and that is for that the rotating movement is going smoothly, and that is pushing it down, and then the rubbers, if it's pushed down without the rotating action, you got so much excellent waterproof. And then that one, really nifty construction, and the rotating bezel with the click spring has got nothing to do with the waterproofing or whatsoever. It's just on top of that. But you can see the rust on the inside. Well, I'll show you under the microscope what happened to this one. Because if it's waterproof, you might expect a waterproofing. Here you can see it is a winding stem, but in two pieces, because the movement has come from the front, so you cannot remove the winding stem. So it is in two pieces like that, and it clicks on the other side. But here on the inside, the rubber, I tried to remove it already, is gunky. Maybe I have a video earlier on before cleaning. This is an earlier recording I made for the client to show what is going on the inside of his watch. Here you can see the rotor. That is moisture, but with the oil and the lubrication and the fat, and that is sediment from water. And now here you can see the crown before I cleaned it. The rubber is so deteriorated that it's becoming a paste, and it's everywhere, makes stains, quite horrible. What I show you now, on the inside you see on the left is a bit of rubber left, and the rest is completely gone. We see it a lot with Tissot gaskets from the mid-70s. I think the vulcanization of the rubber just didn't go well. This might be even that the rubber deteriorates for salty water, chloride from swimming pools, or oil, and the rubber becomes a paste and no waterproof seal whatsoever. So if you want to use your watch in chlorine or in the sea, please rinse it off with fresh water. And if you ask a watchmaker, even though it is 1,000 meters, 3,000 feet water resistant, just don't. If you got a, yeah, why should you? Yeah. If there's a choice, especially for vintage watches, you see the rubber deteriorates. It's so old, there is no seal left. That's why it was leaking. And then the hands are filled with paste. But because of the water in the watch, it became completely black. It looked horrible. And it was cracked. So, because we are doing a restoration, the dial was luckily okay. Beautiful dial. Here it is. There. 1,000 meters over 3,000 feet. You can see tiny specks of moisture there, but you're looking with me through my microscope, and just visual you hardly see these specks. But, and that is the fun of restoration, these markers, do you see, it is greenish yellow, but the hands were completely black and horrible because of the rust inside the watch. So I made paste. Maybe I can show you the here, luminous paste. And you can see even the yellow, and I used tiny specks of green in this, yeah, paste. So what I did, I had a good look at the color of the dial. Luckily the word discolorated. And the hands, I made just tinted them to the original dial. Look at that. They are a tiny bit light, the hands, but because it is a black surface in the background, if you place the hands on the movement, they turn a tiny few tints darker because of the black dial. So if we place them on the movement, they will be perfect matching. And even the dot here in the, sorry about the focus, there in the second hand. Here you can see tiny traces on the outside. I have to clean up, but we are getting there, very close to finishing this restoration of a lovely watch for a lovely client. He brought many watches here. Nicest guy you'll ever meet. So even though they say it is waterproof, the construction is really interesting, but still your rubber gaskets, your seals, have to be in perfect condition. And if you don't take care of the seals, even a watch like this will get rusty, get water in. So yeah, you do have to do some maintenance on the rubber in order to keep it waterproof. I really do think you find it just as exciting as me. You don't see a construction of a watch like this often. This is top-notch, really high-level stuff, and hardly any brand will say it is water resistant to 1,000 meters. And that is not depth in the sea of underwater 1,000 meter, but it is the 1,000 meter is the air column of pressure. So an air column of 1 kilometer high, that pressure on a certain area that can resist. It's got nothing to do with how deep a watch can be. It's all about the pressure it can resist. Really, I hope you enjoyed this small video. My name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker from the Netherlands. If you have any questions or remarks, please leave them in the comments. I read every single one of them, and hope to see you soon. See ya. Bye bye.